Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got the blank, which is good. But do I have a bingo? If I don't, I can play phase, because F and Z are my two non-bingo-y tiles, and that would also get rid of the duplicate A. But I'm going to quickly run through the alphabet and see if I can see a 7. I wouldn't want to overlook a bingo if I've got one. Not seen anything yet. And I'm not expecting to see something. I think if there was something, I would hope that it would come to me. Okay, so I can't see anything. So my choices are phase or czar, which retains the E. I think I'll go with the higher scoring play. The F is non-bingo-y. So phase 32. Pretty good. I should have a bingo here. I have you into I down onto the E, should that stay available. I've got the anti-prefix. Now, do I have a 7 here? Surely I do. Again, I'm going to run through the alphabet and see what I can see. But this time I am expecting to spot some bingos. Nothing there. I have tattooing, which doesn't play at the moment, I don't think. Well, maybe this rack isn't as great as, or as prolific as I thought it might be in terms of bingos. My opponent taking a while with his move. He could be about to bingo himself. He doesn't. Let me just finish this task. So quantity onto a Y. That looks like there should be something there, but I haven't seen it. Okay, so my opponent's played all up, which takes an S. So the bingo I saw, well, I had you into it onto the E. That's been blocked. And no I or E available. And the other one was tattooing. And that, I think, has been blocked. Okay, so I now need to look for a bingo through some of the existing floaters, which are initially F, O, and P. So I have mutation through the O. Do I have something through the P? I'm going with mutation because I think something through the P is only going to score a little bit more, and I've spent a while on this. So mutation for 66. Pretty good. I have the X and a bunch of vowels to go with it, and I've also got the H to increase the score. So I've got hocks and hoax and hand axe on my rack. Mutation has also taken out the hotspot in row H with the O underneath a premium square. So the board not super juicy in terms of spots. Mutation takes an S after it, that's all. I haven't seen anywhere great for my X. Well, I now do have hand axe and hoax in row K. And I also have Zoana on my rack, which plays in column 11, but that's not going to be as good as hoax. And I prefer hoax to hand axe because the rack leave is better. ADN is a lot better than O. Although I am sacrificing 6 points, but I think ADN is 6 points better than O. And hand axe would also place an A above this double word square and create a super hot spot in row L. Now, can I do better than this? I have Panax in column 13, but that's not going to be better. Hoax is creating a hotspot in column 8 in the sense that a 6-letter play beginning EX could score well, such as exhale. I'm pretty sure I don't have an EXH play on this rack at the moment, so 39 points. Not great. Duplicate tiles. But I should be able to sort this out. At the moment, Cond plays in row L underneath hoax. My O plays underneath EX. Do I have a 6-letter EX play? Don't think so. I have non as a prefix. But I can't see anything good with that. Row E is a double lane. Okay, well, not surprisingly, my con spot has been taken. There weren't a huge number of opportunities on this board. And Grift has taken out the hotspot in column 8. And also the O spot for EX. Now I'm wondering about a play parallel to Mutation. I'd like to play off certainly a D and an N. So I could play Donna, D-O-N-A. Which would leave CDN, not great. How can I do better? Just wondering if I've got something onto this T. And I'm slightly doubtful about Donna. It might not be good. It may just be with 2 N's. So what about Donga? 18 points, not great. Putting the O next to the triple letter square, not great either. Nothing goes after Tat that I've got. What about a play beginning with P? This is a clunky rack because I'd quite like to play off D and N plus one of C, D and N, and that's proving tricky. Now my C can go in front of HI. I can't see a good 4-letter play. Yeah, I'd quite like to play off a more than 4 tiles with this rack, something like Donna with 2 N's. "12 minutes on my clock. Well, this rack is proving surprisingly difficult. But I'm not sure what to do about that. I can't play underneath grift because I don't have an E for going underneath the R. So what about this? Donna for 16. Then if my opponent does place a premium tile above the O, then he will be opening up column A. This still doesn't feel great. It's the rack leave I don't like. I could easily end up with a very vowel heavy rack leave. How can I play off one more tile? I'm going with this. Pretty good. I have diction. That is pretty fortunate. And it plays above and below Donna. Wow, that is such a fortunate pickup. Do I have it anywhere else? I do, because of and Nara good, so I have it in row G, rows G, B, and D. Onto an R I would have in Ditor. Do I have anything onto the T? A double-double. Can't see anything. I'm not sure I really deserve this bingo. I don't think Donna was remotely optimal. Donna, I think, takes a T as well as an S after it. That doesn't help me. Diatonic is good through an A. Now, my opponent has blocked my diction spots in row B and D, but row G is still available. Haha. So, let me get this down. Diction of Na for 70. And I draw the J. Excellent. I don't have a bingo here, but it's always good to see the J with some vowels. It holds out the promise of a good score. So I have Jag and Jaga on my rack. 11 minutes on my clock, 44 tiles to come. I haven't seen anywhere fabulous for the J yet. Vol takes nothing in front of it. It takes an A and an E after it, but I don't have a 6-letter play, which stretches that far. I would have Rioja through an I, so that's a possibility in column 3. I have Jogger. Superb. I was just thinking about Rioja, that the score was fairly dismal around the 20 mark, but Jogger's going to be up around the 40 mark. Much better. I'm scanning the board, looking for alternative spots for my J. I have Jato in column 5, but again, that's back down in the early 20s. 46 points for Jogger. Now, what about Jagger? I think Jagger is good, and that will be better than Jogger because it splits up the duplicate A. It'll be enormously annoying if Jagger comes off, but I am going to try it. I think Jagari is good with double G and ending RY. I think Jagger is good. Okay, well, that decision has been taken from me. Both my Rioja and Jagger spots have gone. What remains is my Jato spot. And Jota, pretty much the same play. And that keeps a rack leave of Rage, which is quite a nice rack leave. Still all 4 S's to come, and all up takes an S. Now, am I missing something? Well, I don't have any J something N plays, and nothing longer because I don't have an H. Nothing goes in front of vinyl. I thought for a moment I had Rioja onto this I, and I don't. But certainly a play in column 6 getting the J tripled would be nice. I've got Geijo on my rack. I have Jata. Let me see what this scores. 31 points. It's a worse rack leave. But it's a much better score than Jato. 22, it's 9 more points, and Rage isn't 9 points better than Ego, especially with only 2 O's left. And this takes out a pretty useful bingo lane, but Jato achieved the same effect. I have Jargon on my rack, no spare N. I'm mindful of the time, I need to pick it up a bit, so I'm going with this. Horrendous. Totally horrendous. No scoring tiles and 6 vowels. Close to a bingo with Eugenese. With the right floater and 1 tile different. Nowhere near close enough, of course. I've got OE for quite a decent score. 23 points. And a pick of 2 consonants would be good. Let me look at the vowel situation. Still a ton of E's to come, 7 of them. 17 vowels out of 43, so slightly consonant heavy bag. Jata has also obstructed the S hook for Orlop. Now, what a shame. My opponent opens up a hot spot in column 1, and I can't take advantage. Most annoying. So, is OE the best I can do? Onto an R, I would have Guia. 8 minutes on my clock. It would be nice to do something better than this. This doesn't sort the rack out, and the score is pretty meh. Or meh, however you pronounce that. I have OG on my rack. Does that play anywhere? And what about a play down through this P? Close to apogee. Tat takes an E. So I could play Ego. That doesn't feel great. Just wondering about playing OG in column 1. I don't like that. My G can go up above here, so I think this is going to be better than OE. Ego 23. Well, it's not, because it burns my sole consonant. I'm going with OE. I draw 1 vowel and 1 consonant. Not great. I am ahead by 130 points. But that could easily be swallowed up, because I've got the sorts of racks which are difficult to score with, but are too good to change. My opponent has opened up column 15 and also row A. R goes in front of YA. The W not particularly dangerous for bingos. I'm close to wide out. I've got Uoi on my rack, which would sort the rack out. Do I have a play? I do. And I'm mindful to play it because of the time. I have OG down here for 32. Rack leave horrendous. I also have Geoid, which would be slightly better, but that doesn't play there. 6 minutes on my clock and 28 tiles in the bag. I'm going with this. Not great, but my rack leave was awful, so I'm glad to see the P. What can I do with it? I'm just wondering about a play down from this P. I feel there ought to be something there. Well, Piley I is good. That's not bad. Except NI isn't. Now my P can go in front of I. Can't see anything great with that. Can't see anything down through the W. Great. My opponent's used that and burned an S. Still 3 S's to come, so I suspect he's got another on his rack. which means he may want to use the Orlop hook. Perhaps I should take that out. Just wondering how to do that. Can't see a good way. I've got L-I-E-U, but nowhere for it. Pilule through an L. What about a play down onto through this T? I'd quite like to burn a lot of tiles because I'm short on time and this rack's rubbish. I have uplie. What about Plutii? Is that good? Plutii for 16, let's find out. If it is good, my rack has recovered. But I'm not sure it is. So I'm anxiously waiting. Now, through an O, I would have bisector. I've now gone from a vowel surfeit to just the 2 vowels. Let me look at the remaining vowel situation. 9 out of 21. So I must be careful not to squander my E and I. Okay, so my opponent has both an S and a blank, so those are now out. He's still 50 points behind. I think Briskin takes an S. I don't have a bingo here. 5 minutes on my clock. So what to do? Just looking at the floating E and D. I'm wondering about playing for a bingo. This bracket is quite bingo if I just played the B off. That could be a dangerous game. And I can't see anywhere for the B, just 4 minutes on my clock. I don't think there's anywhere on this board I can play just a B, apart from BE. And that rather signals that I'm fishing for a bingo. Seven tiles left. What about playing off 6 of them? And I was looking to place my B or C on this double letter square and sticking the S on the end of Briskin. So I could play tribes. Oh, I can play citers. It would be nice to play off the B and the C, just from a score perspective. So I have biters, keeping the C. I have bisect, but that doesn't play there. So this is 35 points. I think this is much better than just fishing. Yeah, and that's quite a nice pickup. So I'm 90 points ahead. There's 1 tile in the bag. My opponent's either got a Q or a U on his rack. If he gets a 40 or 50 point Q play, this game should still be mine. Now, is Dunsish good? I'm not sure there's anywhere for it at the moment. That may be good. Yeah, 40 points for my opponent, so I'm glad I didn't fish. I'm now 42 points ahead. I can see what my opponent's got. My N can go underneath QI. So I can play chins for 33. Is my opponent going to go out? I think dog ear is good. So he's got an out in row O. So I am better off playing the S than keeping it. I don't think I have a bingo here. I don't think I'm providing anything massive for my opponent, so I'm going with this. If my opponent doesn't go out, I can. I've got Rud and I've got Pud. Dup for more. And I've got 2 minutes to find the best spot for DU if my opponent doesn't go out. So my time problems didn't materialize. I don't have anything for UD around chins or around briskens. Yeah, I probably ought to be looking now for DU spots. So 12 for Dup. I'm trying to be vaguely methodical. Okay, yep, my opponent finds the out, so pass to end the game. And the final score, 333 to my opponent, 393 to me. A winning margin of 60 points. So I win a game at last. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first. No bingo here and phase looks fine. Opponent has all up. Now, I struggled with this rack. I didn't see Tutania, the 7. Out paint, F13. Oh, through the P. So that was 70 points. Instead, I went for Mutation for 66. I spent a while on this rack, and when I saw Mutation, I decided to go for it. But had I have looked further, I could have eked out a further 4 points. My opponent's rack, he plays Team. And this is what I was thinking of, Hand Axe and Hoax, but I prefer Hoax for the reasons stated. Opponent plays Grift, and this was a rack I really struggled with. Great, it looks like DONA is not good, so I'm glad I didn't play that. And look at the rack leaves, you can see why this rack caused me such problems, because there are quite a few potential rack leaves from this rack, which are a lot better than most of these down here. Certainly anything with a duplicate looks suboptimal. So Dan for 14, B 13. Yeah, that's not bad, but only 14 points to get a decent rack leave, and the same for Don. So that's why I struggled. In the end, I went for Donna for 16, and that now doesn't look so bad. Horrible rack for my opponent. He plays Vol, and I still have Diction playable in row G, which is fantastic. Opponent plays Vinyl, and now Jarter E9 looks best. Opponent plays Mew, and now my rack deteriorates, but I'm 110 points in front. F5, well, that was the play I thought about, but I didn't like 4 vowels and no consonants, so I went for OE, the same score, but retaining the G, and I prefer that. Opponent's rack. He plays U, he's still 100 points behind. And now I'm able to play off 5 tiles, score 32 points, and have a very vulnerable rack leave. Opponent has a bingo here, Diuresis, does not spot it, fortunately for me. He plays Squire. And now my vulnerable rack leave did produce a pretty crappy rack, but Plutii sorts it out. And yeah, there were a few other options there which look okay, but which I didn't spot. This is my opponent's rack, Brisk, and the only bingo, so a good spot. Ah, look at that. Exact. Wow. 59 points. That would have been pretty fabulous. Instead, I play Biters, which, although not as good as Exact, pretty much achieves the same aim in the sense that it guarantees me the win. Opponent plays Qua. Now I have chins for 33. And finally, dog ear was the only out for my opponent. So great to get back to winning ways. Quite an exciting game and some interesting racks for consideration. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will see you next time.